Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am sharing with you 10 more baby names that I absolutely love that we could use potentially for future babies. You guys know that I keep a running list in my phone of names that I just absolutely love, and every time I hear another name that just strikes a chord with me, I have to add it to my list. And that list is already like ridiculously long, but it just keeps growing and growing. So I'm just gonna keep cranking these videos out for you guys because I know that so many of you enjoy them. I personally love watching them. And if you are new here, I'm Denae. I'm a stay-at-home mom to our son Gunnar, who is currently 2.5 years old. My husband and I are currently trying to conceive baby number 2, and we are currently going through fertility treatments, which is how we got pregnant with our son as well. So I am documenting and sharing that journey here on my channel. If that is something that you're interested in following along with, definitely make sure that you are subscribed and hit that bell notification so that you don't miss out on any updates. That being said, my channel consists mostly of motherhood and lifestyle content. I love sharing videos with you on parenting. I love fashion, beauty, home decor, cooking. I have the occasional cleaning and organization video. So if that is the type of content that you enjoy watching, definitely consider subscribing. I know that you guys are here for the baby names, so let's go ahead and get into them. Okay, so like I said, I keep a list in my phone of names that I absolutely love, and I have so many to share with you. And my husband and I typically gravitate towards names that are a little bit more different or unique for us. I feel like I have to give that disclaimer because I've often said that that's a different or unique name, and somebody in every single video will come back and say, that's not different, that's not unique, that's a common name here. So listen, these are names that are different for us. They're not names that we hear of very regularly. They're not names within our circle of family or friends or acquaintances. So they're different for us. They're probably different for many of you. I get that it doesn't apply to all of you, but I'm just putting that out there. So I have 5 girl names and 5 boy names that I am going to share with you. So the first name that I have for you is a little girl's name, and that is the name Kyla. I don't know where I've heard that name before, but I just think it is so beautiful, so different. It's kind of a hybrid for me between a Kylie and a Kaya. I know that I would never use Kylie, you know, when you have names that are associated with people. That is a name for me that is associated with somebody. So I would never use Kylie, but I do like Kyla. And I just think it is just such a beautiful name. And I feel like there's some strength behind it as a female. I just really love that name. I think it's so, so pretty. The next one that I have is also a girl's name, and that is the name Kinsley. You guys know that I am so drawn to girls' names with Lee at the end of it. I don't know why, but I just like am so in love with Lee names. And I think Kinsley is so beautiful. I think it's just very feminine and sweet, and I just really love it. The next name that I have is a boy's name, and that name is Cohen. I don't know where I've ever heard the name Cohen. I feel like maybe it was like a last name on a show or something. I'm not really sure, but I really like the name Cohen. I like that there's some strength behind it. Chris and I really love boys' names that have a little more masculinity to them, that are a little more stronger, and Cohen is definitely one that I feel like packs a punch behind it, so I do really love that name. And then the next one is also a boy's name, and that is the name Bo. And Bo for me has such southern flair to it. That's also another thing that we're really drawn to. We live in the South. My husband is very much a southern boy, and we do really like names that have a little bit of a southernness to them. And Bo is definitely one of those names for me. I love that you can spell it a few different ways. And actually one of my good friends here on YouTube, her little boy is named Bo, and I know she spells his B-O, but I really, really love Bo for a little boy. The next name that I have is for a girl, and that is the name Hensley. Now, I shared with you guys in a previous video, I think it was the gender neutral name, if I'm not mistaken, was the name Henley. that is definitely a name that could go either way. But Hensley, just adding that S to it, I feel like just makes it so much more feminine. That is not a name that we would actually end up using because we do have good friends who have a little girl named Hensley, but I think it is so beautiful and just so sweet and actually suits this little girl perfectly. The next one is for a boy, and that is the name Cade. Again, I don't know where I heard this name, but I really like Cade. I really like names that have like a K to them as well. And I just think Cade is so cute and just a little bit different, and I feel like it's just not something that we hear very regularly. Another name for a boy that I really love is the name Clayton, and I've actually heard it as a last name and as a first name. And again, I feel like it's one of those names that could have a little more of a southern flair to it. Clayton is not something that I hear very often, and when I do, I think of it more as like a family name, but I do really like the name Clayton, and I also really like the idea of maybe calling him Clay. The next name is got to be like one of my hands down ultimate favorite names for a little girl, and I almost like don't even want to share it, but I'm going to because we pretty much already have a girl's name picked out. If we have a girl name, I shouldn't say pretty much, we do. We've had this name since before we were ever pregnant with Gunner, and we've just over the years have always said that that was the name we were gonna go with. But if we ended up having an additional girl, the name that I would want to use would be Karin. I love, love, love the name Karin. It is so beautiful. I think it's really classy, very feminine. It's one of those names that just grows with you. And I am such a sucker for cute nicknames, and I love the idea of being able to call her Coco. And I feel like Coco goes so well with Karin. I just think it is so, so beautiful. Okay, so the next name that I have is for a boy, and I've mentioned before that if we had another little boy, I definitely would want to somehow tie into my grandfather's name, which is Calvin, and he always was called Cal. So I would love to use, like, I would never use Calvin, and I don't know that we would call him Cal, but I would love to use some sort of name that like pulls from that, whether it has Cal in it. So the name that I really love for a boy is the name Callaway. I obviously think of golf, which I'm totally okay with because I love golf. My grandpa was a big golfer. I actually have my grandpa's golf clubs and his golf bag. That's actually what I use. So that's just very sentimental to me, and I really, really, really love the name Callaway. So that is definitely one that would be a strong contender for me for a boy, because we still could call him Cal if we wanted to, but even if we didn't, it still has that Cal in there, which just has such sentimental meaning for me with my grandpa because I was so close with him. And then the last name that I have to share with you is actually for a little girl, and that is the name Maisy. I heard Maisy a long time ago, and then I heard it again just recently actually, and I was like, I gotta add that to my list because it is so cute. I think Maisy is just so adorable. It's kind of spunky, it's got a little bit of sass to it, definitely has that southern feel to it for me. I just think it is like such a name that is so adorable. I really love it. I don't know that my husband would be on board with it, but I think Maisy is so stinking cute. So there you have it. There are 10 more baby names for you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure that you give it a thumbs up. As always, leave in the comments down below what some of your favorites were from this list, or what your favorites are that may not be on this list. I always love hearing from you guys, different ones, and I always get some like really cool and different names from you guys. So I love that. I just love hearing that, and I know that other people like to read that as well and get different ideas. So thank you guys so much for sharing in your time with me today. I do hope that you consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!